Bonjour French 1, this is your section 5.2 notes on places and weather. Of course, you know from earlier in the year we've already covered some places in class. You learned the word for high school, which was lycée. You learned the word for school in general, which is école. You learned the word for pool, which was piscine. Now we're just adding to that list some more places. Remember that you only need to write down what is in the yellow backgrounds. The stuff that's in the parentheses there in the green backgrounds are the pronunciation, and that is optional. I forgot to include a place for you to write those optional pronunciation things on your actual printed notes. So if you want to add them in, just add them out to the side right next to the words if that is your choice. Either way, the way you say the French word for the country, not as in a country like the country United States, but as in the country, the opposite of the city, the wide open spaces country, that is la campagne. The word for a club, like a sports club, kind of like a YMCA or a rec center, which I know we've already learned is MJC, but more along the lines of if you play club sports, so you have an official team, but where those sports would meet is le club. A cyber cafe is just a restaurant that also has internet access and sometimes provides computers for their patrons to get on and surf the net. A cyber cafe in French is le cybercafé. The word for a lake is le lac. The sea or the ocean is la mer. And a mountain is la montagne. The word for museum is le musée. An opera house or a place where you can see concerts is l'opéra. A skating rink, as in an ice skating rink, is le patinoire. The beach is la plage. A theater where you can see plays is le théâtre. And the zoo is le zoo. So having given you all of these places, I'm kind of going to give you a sneak preview here of a verb that we're going to cover more in depth later on in this section, and that's the verb aller. The reason why I want to introduce the verb aller to you today is because it means to go. So if you want to talk about going to the ice skating rink or going to the zoo or any other vocab words that we just talked about, you'll want to use your forms of aller. The problem is that even though aller ends in the letters er, it does not follow the pattern of regular er verbs with the se. It is an irregular verb. So later on in this section, we're actually going to cover it more in depth, and I have a happy little song to go with it. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you and let you jot it down so that if you do want to do something such as what these sentences are doing, where you want to say something like, I'm going to the pool or we're going to the movies, you know how to say that using the verb aller. So jot it down for now, but we're just kind of hinting at it right now. We'll go more in depth later. In order to say I go or I'm going, the je form of aller is je vais. In order to say you go or you are going, it's tu vas. If you want to say he or she goes or he or she is going, il or elle va. If you want to say we go or we are going, it's nous allons. If you want to say y'all go or y'all are going, it's vous allez. And if you want to say they go or they are going, ils or elles vont. The other thing I need to point out, though, when it comes to using the verb aller with places is when you talk about going to a place, the word to changes whether you're going to a feminine place, like here with à la piscine, versus to a masculine place, like here with au cinéma. So just as a quick reminder, the preposition à, when it looks just like this on its own, means to or at. And if you put a in front of certain definite articles, such as le or les, sometimes it combines or contracts with that a word and creates a whole other word. We've talked about this earlier in the year, so I just wanted to touch on it and have you jot it down on your notes again so you have everything you need to talk about places all in one spot. But the bottom line is if you're talking about going to the, for something masculine, like to the zoo, you can't say à le zoo. It is illegal in the French language to have the words à and le next to each other. When à and le get next to each other, they squish up close and magically become o. Or you can just memorize that o is the word for to for a masculine place. À la, to say you're going to a feminine place, like à la patinoire, totally okay to be next to each other. L apostrophe, if you're going to a place that starts with a vowel. Only one I can think of off the top of my head right now is école, which is school. À l'école with an L apostrophe, totally okay as well. If, however, you're going someplace plural, doesn't happen often, but maybe like going to the stores, a and le can never be next to each other. They always squish together and become o, A-U-X. So in order to save you the time of having to re-log in for a separate video, this is now the weather portion of your notes. It's on the back of your paper. In order to ask what the weather is like, you'll need to ask quel temps fait-il? And then the following are all kinds of ways that you can answer. If you'd like to say that the weather is nice, you say il fait beau. If you'd like to say that the weather is bad, just general, it could mean stormy, it could mean cold, it could mean a lot of things, but it's bad weather is il fait mauvais. It's hot is il fait chaud. It's cold is il fait froid. It's snowing is il neige. It's raining is il pleut. It's windy is il y a du vent. It's sunny is il y a du soleil. And it's cloudy is il y a des nuages.